And without a further ado, next up, we are talking about something each of us does every day, payments. From tapping your phone to scanning the QR, it's all happening in milliseconds. But have you ever wondered what powers the security, speed, and intelligence behind the scenes? The session takes us into the fascinating world of the AI powered payments and how Google Cloud is helping make every transaction smarter and safer. Our first speaker is someone who lives and breathes payments. She is a Google developer expert in payments, a technical program manager at the Razorpay, and a powerhouse community leader. Organizing GDG Pune and the leading woman Tech Markers Pune, please welcome the brilliant Namrata More. And joining her is another fintech visionary, a senior product manager at AirPay, a certified Google Cloud engineer, and yes, also a GDE in payments. He is the TEDx speaker, the community builder, and the creative soul who blends music and tech to the create impact. So please give them a big round of applause. Let's also welcome the multi-talented Amey Nerkar. Please put your hands up for the thing. Please जोरदार ताली हो जाए guys. Over to you guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that great introduction. Thanks. Okay, so I think a topic that all of us are aware of in general, payments, right? Okay, so okay, so this time we are going to talk about, we all know payments. We all have been with payments. Like we will be. This world is not going to die for payments anyway. So what we are going to try to tell you today is that even though we are moving to a digital payment ecosystem, there are things that we need to take care of, and there are things that AI, cloud, and all the new technologies coming up are helping us through, and how should we in person try to utilize those tools for us. So I think, yeah, like we said, let's talk payments. Have you used cash in recent past? A lot of cash somewhere? Or okay, where if you could just okay. Anyone else who has you? I mean, cash for small little things, say grocery purchases, or I don't know, CODs. Anyone who does COD now? I do a lot of COD a lot of times. But yeah, anyone else also? Okay. So these are things we do because sometimes we have this thing in mind that I'm not sure if my order would actually come. That is one risk parameter, right? There are risks, and I think right now the cash that we use, the processes where we use cash, is usually because we see risk there, and that is something we are going to see. So if you look at the digital numbers right now, we see around 13 CR, this is FY25, around 30 CR UPI transactions. This is only UPI. This doesn't include others. 40% of the global real-time payments happen in India. Why? Because UPI as a major consumption is currently in India. It's not everywhere else. I mean, there are, very similar to UPI applications and methods, but not really UPI, which is immediate transfer. Because bank transfers, cards, etc. do say T+1 or T+2 days settlements. So that's one. And yeah, we have 100 trillion cup prediction in next 2 years, which is by FY 2026. That is something which is predicted. Again, this number is mainly increasing because of UPI and because of the small little transactions that we've been doing. And while we have so much, there'll always be a risk that we saw, right? So what have we been doing so far for the risk? I mean, it's not like UPI has just started a month back. It has been there for last around 10 years. And how have we started to cope up with that? Or what have we exactly done to make sure that the frauds, the risks are taken care of? In the past, what we were trying to do is have some if-else statements. Yeah, that's something we've been doing at that time, like 10 years back. anything that we needed was like an if-else thing, and with conditioning, we were trying to solve problems. But if you see the example that's given here, its amount is greater than 1 lakh, then there's a flag raised. This flag could be anything. I mean, it can just give you a trigger asking, do you want to do this transaction? Or it could just flag to the system saying this is a huge transaction, so just check the profile. That is something which could be done, but there are major fallbacks here, and the problem here is not every transaction which is greater than 1 lakh has to have that many checks. Because if you see right now, we do a lot of, I mean, there are a lot of transactions which need to be done in a particular limit and a particular time, but these are not done because of these sort of checks, which still some systems are using. If you look at the middle, I mean, we say present, but I think this is something which we've been seeing in past 5-6 years, that we try to use analysis sort of tools which give us analysis data, and with that analysis we try to understand of how with a history of a certain type of transaction or a certain person. With that history, we try to analyze if a particular method is going correct or not. So if you see, the second part has again some fallbacks because it is not able to analyze a lot of data. Like, say I am just trying to understand last 10 transactions of a person, or last 10 transactions on, say, a particular app, say Google Pay, and analyze that and then understand if that can be a risk optimizer or not. But right now, what AI is trying to help us with is two things. Anyone aware of what personalization is? This concept is very similar to personalization. I think we've been seeing personalization everywhere, right? All apps do that first. Any app you use, any notifications we get, even right now, if you're getting a notification, that is based on your personal data that the app has, right? How does that work? Anyone has any idea what type of personalizations are used, or what is the model that exactly helps analyze this better than a normal if-else or an analysis tool? Okay. So that I'll give you an example, a very known example. YouTube. All of us have used YouTube. Yeah. There are two type of basic personalizations that are used on YouTube or any other app that uses basic profile data. That is, one is cohort based, as in the two people are compared. So for example, let's take an example of YouTube. If I have some search history which is very similar to another person in a particular way, then whatever I am seeing will be recommended to that person. This is, people are compared and then recommendation is done. Second is content-based personalization. There, whatever content I am consuming, the keywords that this content has and another content which has similar keywords, these two will be compared and then things will be recommended to me in that way. Right? These are two types of personalizations in general. How this is applicable to payments is, when we look at fraud, there are two types of fraud checks done. This will be really helpful. I mean, being a student, of course, if you want to, do some sort of fraud-related projects, etc., you can try, using these models. Personalization models are available everywhere, and you can just try utilizing this for some real use case scenario. So I'll just comparing to these two that I just told you, we'll try to understand how it's related to payments. Now, when I want to understand frauds, there are two things that I see. One is profile match, and second is profile screening. So what's profile match is, okay, so if I say I am Namrata More, and I am trying to create an account on, say, Google Pay. So now, first thing that they'll do is profile match. They'll match my profile, and there is video KYC, right? You do videos, you take a video of yourself, you show your signature, show your PAN card, show your Aadhaar card. There my profile match is done. Even if you are not taking a picture, they are clicking your picture and trying to match that with your identity that is already stored at the back end. This is the first level of profile match, wherein they get to know the person who is in video is the same as the identity. Second is profile screening. When I say profile screening, it is my profile if it is linked to any of the blacklisted data that is available online. I mean, blacklisted data can be anything. There can be terrorists data. There is passport rejection data. The lot of data there is with RBI. I mean, when I talk about payments, it's with RBI, and RBI has these APIs which give you a lot of screening data. There it is compared, and like I told you about why I gave an example of YouTube was because that is very relative to all of us. So. Two type of matches are done. One is profile match and second is profile screening. And when I say future, the frauds will be predicted going ahead with respect to this, and that is why this is most reliable than some FLs checks which might give you a lot of false positives. Do you know what a false positive is? Yeah, anyone in a sentence? Okay. We have a few goodies also, like very small goodies, but a few goodies with us, just in case anyone wants to answer. Abhi, false positive? Yeah, sure. Correct, yeah. So basically it is, some result that is not actually correct. Some result which is basis some analysis, but that result is not actually completely correct. And it is misguiding you in a certain way. So there are false positives in all of the, I mean, there can be false positives anyway, but a percentage of false positive is checked, and then it is determined if your model, if your AI model, if your ML model is working correct or not. And that is how, and false positive is a huge matrix as such in payments, because of course money related things are very sensitive for, I mean, even if I lost my 10 rupees, I think I am really hurt, right? So that is why false positives are really important there. So yeah, from processing transactions to understanding them, whatever I mentioned right now is very much what is shown here. First is, like I said, data collected. My profile's data is collected. ML model, a model is run which helps me detect the false positives, which helps me get a percentage of my profile match, profile screening. Real-time monitoring, this is very important. I mean, my transaction is done, some fraud is done, I get to know after 2 days, there's no point, right? Real time, if I get to know this website is not correct, and that is why I should not get a payment on, do a payment on this, then I think that is where this model will help. Blocking transactions. Have you ever, noticed? Okay, I have. If you do a huge transaction from a location that is not very obvious. I mean, if I want to do a very huge transaction on my, device or on my laptop, it's usually my home. I mean, it's usually a place where I'm settled. You won't do a huge transaction on the way in a train or in a very different place where you've just been for a trip or something, usually. So that is detected. When I say blocking transactions, I have faced this. I want to pay somewhere, which is me, myself. I'm trying to tap my card, but my card is not, my card is rejecting my payment because that location is not very obvious to me. Now, even if this is me, I just get a notification, to be specific, this is from HDFC. I get a notification saying this is not a routine place, so this is not a routine location. Is this you? Either I get a call or a message, I verify, and then I go ahead. Because this is a huge transaction, this is something that they are already tracking. This is real time, and they give you some 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, if I do not verify if it's me, then it will be blocked and cancelled. So these type of mechanisms are using the profile checks. And yeah, user verification, I think that is something we all are aware of. 2FA, reCAPTCHA, biometrics, which I think we all have been using so far. So this is how it is, right? But while all of this goes on, do you think if there are so many checks, that is why your payments are pending for a long time sometimes? Yeah, you get a lot of errors and we're really irritated. So I think, yeah, one is because there's so much going on. And second is because the industry in general needs this. And why it needs is, here we can see financial document search, etc. Are done. I mean, financial document search is not a normal search engine. This is analysis of the document and whatever. It's very similar to a ChatGPT prompt, a Gen AI prompt that we give, and then you get analysis of it. Enhanced virtual assistants, I think there's an example which we have ahead of this. Capital market research with Gen AI. There are a lot of, again, we have an example, I think Amey can tell you better. Regulatory code changes, there are a lot of regulatory, anyone who's working in health or finance industry would know there are a lot of regulations coming around a lot of times, and these can be told in a better way, use case wise, with such tools. And yeah, personalized financial recommendation engines like we just saw. So an example which is very similar to this, Lendwise is a AI powered lending app. I'm not a part of this at all. This is just an example. So this is a lending platform, and like I just mentioned about KYC, if you go to some financial or health related app, they'll ask you to do a KYC, right? KYC is know your customer. So that app wants to know you and your identity. And how they are trying to automate this is, previously, if there's a check, people used to come to your house or visit your office address and verify if this person is correct. Go to your neighbors and ask, etc. But Lendwise, what these AI powering tools are trying to do is do this whole process in an automated way. Anyone who is 30 plus would know that previously credit was a huge thing. If you want to have credit, if you want to have loan, it was a huge thing, and it used to take a lot of time. Nowadays, applications like Slice, etc., have given us so much in lending. We get our identity verified, and we get in 7 to 8 minutes, in 10 minutes, you get some loan sanctioned, like not a huge amount, but loan sanctioned really quick. These are because of such AI powered tools, and yeah, these are things that are basically cached. I mean, the application ID, credit score, decisioning, and this is done in just 10 minutes. The way this is done, or why they are able to do this, because of the AI models. And yeah, that's helping solve a lot of problems, like 40% increase in loan approvals nowadays, and 30% decrease in default rate. I mean, that was usually very less previously. So we have a few more examples. I think Amey would take that ahead.
That will be one better.
Yeah, it should be better now. So there are next few examples. So if you are visiting any other country, especially in Southeast Asia, there is a specific payment app or which is widely used as GoPay, which is part of Gojek ecosystem. So what usually happens, how many of you have heard that Paytm per 100 rupees प्राप्त हुए? Everyone, right? So the problem is, in India, we have multiple languages. Like in North region, the Hindi is mostly used. In Maharashtra, Marathi. In Gujarat, Gujarati. And in South, there are another native languages. So what happens is, when we want to tap that particular audience, which is using that sound box, then we have to use that particular native language to capture that user base. Now, in Gojek was facing some similar problem. Like Gojek, like in India, our UPI apps are specifically meant for India only. But in India only, we have such a wide diversity that they have to tackle all of those problems in India. But when Gojek was trying to beat the competition, Gojek is there in food delivery, ride booking, or parcel deliveries, and also payments or wallets. Now, they were trying to curb the competition, and they were trying to raise in this particular market. Now, the challenges were very simple. Like they have to launch in a new region, they have to change the language. If any tourist is coming or visiting, then again the language barrier or entry barriers were there. Again, the digital literacy of the delivery partners or the cab drivers was very much difficult in that particular thing. Now, considering all of these factors, Gojek was not doing that great while doing the expansion. What they easily did is they launched an AI power assistant in GoPay. How it helped them? Like when you want to send money to anyone from your wallet, or you want to do a recharge, or you want to book a cab, or you want to do a payment for your cab, or you want to listen if the payment has arrived. All of these things were done via virtual assistant only. Now it was very easy. You just have to give a prompt, like just like we say, like, hey Google, play this song, or hey Siri, turn on the flashlight, something like that. So it became very easy for everyone to access that. And how they achieved it is very simple. The user speaks. There is a speech to text library which is hosted on GCP. Then there is a dialog flow in between, and there is Cloud Run and GoPay APIs. So Cloud Run and GoPay APIs basically sync together in order to connect with the Gojek internal APIs and servers. And speech to text and dialog flow is widely available, and every one of us, I hope, knows about that, right? Speech to text is something like we are speaking and our phone or laptop is taking that into the words. So some similar things they have used, and they have derived insane transaction volumes because of this particular thing, because they were able to capture a lot of foreign visitors or people who are migrating to a different regions, and also some like people who are trying to new into the ecosystem or digital platforms and trying the payments or the financial things on the digital platform for the first time. So it became very easy for them to penetrate the market using the simple APIs. And also customer service cost. So number of tickets you receive, like number of doubts or queries, were easily solved with these particular bots. Now, while doing all of these things, the first question arises is like, is this legally permitted, and all of those things in the Southeast Asia region? Because we are capturing all of the customer data, customer voice samples, and customer is simply paying it via his voice, right? But if you are integrating GCP, all of these things are taken care. Like in India also, if you are trying to integrate GCP in any of your fintech application, there are multiple certifications required, like where you store your data, PCI DSS certification. So there are a lot of RBI guidelines. And in Southeast Asia also, there are a lot of regulatory guidelines. But if you are using GCP particularly, you don't have to go through all of those certifications again. All of those are taken care by GCP only. Like if you are using any competitor cloud, you have to go through those most of the certifications manually. Like if there is any audit or if there is any data privacy things, you have to do it manually on your own. But if you are using GCP, all of those things are already taken care of. Now the next thing is anti-money laundering. And with GCP, this is really easy now. So I will tell you my personal example, like the company where I work. For onboarding any new merchant, it used to take a day or two, because we have to do all the background research of the merchant, like what he is doing, where he is investing, what are his transactions, and all of those things. And it used to take a lot of time, honestly. But first thing first, what is money laundering? How many of you know about money laundering? Oh, almost most of you guys. Okay. So it is something like this, like all the hard cash money is collected, and in different ways it is taken back into the ecosystem for purchasing Fortuner or private jets or yacht or something like that. So that is how the money cycle works, and regulators are trying hard to break that cycle somewhere or other. So, and now what the interesting thing they have done is, all the fintech organization, be it bank or be it your payment gateway or be it your payment aggregators or anyone, they have a strict regulation, like whenever payment is coming through, you have to check all the details of that payment, and you have to make sure that that payment is not a fraudulent transaction. Now there are multiple legs involved, like 4 to 5, like acquiring bank, issuing bank, payment aggregator, payment gateways, and a lot of things. A transaction goes through all of them. Now, when doing that, it is usually what RBI is saying, if anyone is flagging that transaction and you are not able to flag that, then the penalty will be imposed if you are not able to flag the transactions repeatedly. Then now again GCP made lives very easy. All of these things are inbuilt. You just have to import API, and all of these things will be done very easily. So just a small example, like how it is done. So I hope it is visible at the back as well, right? So how many of you have used GPT or something similar? So this is just Vertex AI platform, and on Vertex AI, how the companies are building it is, you just have to give some prompts like 3 months since last review and high risk score. You will ask AI. You have multiple filter options like which countries you want to check, which regulatory bodies you want to check if it is flagged in or not. And once you ask that, the triggers are set, and after that, you will directly get the sanctions list. So for example, I'm onboarding any merchant, and I want to check like if that merchant is involved in any of such activities or not. What I will simply do is I will just ask this AI, like, what are your interpretations? Initially, it used to be like Google search, page 1, page 2, page 3, then go to another search engine and again do the same research if I'm missing any links or not to check that. So this became very easy with AI, and with Vertex AI, you just have a simple like dialog box or the chatting platform, and you just have to ask your queries, and all of this data will be readily available. So this is just a small demo which we have created, and it will give you sanction list, and from where it is sanctioned, like which regulatory bodies or papers or magazines have flagged this particular merchant, and AI interpretation, like the final decision will never be of AI. Like AI will never say ki the merchant will not be onboarded. AI will give its interpretation like it should be onboarded or not or something like that. Human brain will take the final call in this particular case. So
Then
this is something we are having like very simple examples of AI in fintech using GCP, and we are personally using it in our organization to do a lot of such things. So recently we had RBI audit, and so it was really easy because all the certifications were taken care by GCP only. So this is a small video. I guess we can skip that. Yeah, so these are some of the leading players who are using this particular technology of anti-money laundering. Like you can see Deutsche, BlackRock, HSBC also is one of them. So they have already implemented it because it is plug and play solution. So a lot of more use cases are there. So that was all for today from mine and Namrata's side. Anyone is having any doubts?